Hi. So, on this week's bar chats slash Insta Live, whatever the fuck, I'm talking to a friend of mine that I've just worked out I met 15 years ago, in 2006. Anushka Menon is her name. She's an esteemed photographer. She's done many covers. And by covers, I don't mean cover versions of songs. I mean covers of magazines that you may see on a rack. I know actually that's kind of old school now, having covers on magazines. It seems a little quaint. But basically, she's an incredible photographer that shot covers for publications, let's say. Easy Van Gogh, how's it going? Van Gogh Mag. There you go, Van Gogh Mag. I guess that's a magazine. But anyway, Anushka Menon, yes, she's an amazing photographer. Also then switched into becoming a DJ in the last decade or so, maybe 5 years. And then has recently become a solo artist. And here she is. Here we go. I'm going to request her friendship. Let's see if she tells me to pick off. Let's see if she accepts. Will this work? She's in Goa, so fuck knows what this connection line. Hey, there it is. Hi. Can you hear me? Oh, you can. Okay, I was just like, why are you fucking sat there silent, just like looking at me like, what is this idiot talking about?
What's going on?
Having a couple of drinks, talking to a mate. It's Wednesday. It's what we do. Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. It's kind of awkward to like start drinking at 10:30 at night, but yeah, it's
Why is it awkward to start drinking at 10:30 at night? Isn't that what's meant to happen?
we normally start earlier.
Huh.
Hi.
Big up film beats in the house. And
Yeah.
speaking of beats and music, we'll get to your solo stuff. But
Okay.
right, so I met you, and it turns out I did the maths just before this, right? I met you in 2006.
Are we doing guess the age?
Yeah, 15 fucking years ago.
2006. Okay. Okay, not before that?
No, I think 2006 in Delhi was the first time I actually met. Hey, big up Anushka, she's here. Hi, Anushka.
Hi, Nush. Big Nush.
Big Nush and Little Nush. It's so funny, actually. So Anushka, big Anushka is Anushka Shankar, who's actually quite small. And then Anushka Menon is also quite small.
Even smaller.
It's even smaller. Because I was describing to her the other day that we're chatting on this. And I think she says to me like, actually it wasn't her. It was her friend was like, Anus Anushka. And I just burst out laughing. I was like, that's the best. Anus Anushka is what I'm going to call you from now on. That's the one.
No, I forbid it, Nerm. I'm hanging up now.
I mean, what did you expect? So anyway, going back.
Nushka's calling me Chutki.
Actually, she did say that was your name. That's true.
Yes.
That is true.
Yes.
Not anus. This is very true. But yeah, 2006, I met you then. And then I got to know you for being a photographer, like an actual, like, proper badass photographer. And someone that's shot, like, some serious heavyweight shit. You know, it's not like you're, like, you've got a little dinky camera and, like, I'm a photographer now. It's, like, proper photography. So what are some of the covers you've done that people may have seen?
Proper. Sorry, say that again. Proper. I'm legit. I'm professional.
Her hair doesn't say that, but her eyes do.
Hey, you want this hair, okay?
I do. I'm so fucking jealous. I'm balding like a bastard. And I really want to just put things on my head. But yeah, so so obviously you shot Monica's Maxim cover, which was a pretty big deal for her, because that was her going from indie icon to kind of like, I guess, celeb, whatever. But you shot that. And like, what other covers have you done that people would have seen maybe?
I mean, I've done covers for all the major magazines in India. Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, Elle, Cosmo, all of them pretty much. So yeah, it's been great. I mean, that's also like, I mean, I've shot so many musicians over this time span, which is also like what's inspired me to get into music. And of course, you know, my background with music. So yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
Lots of music.
but I
Lots
mean,
of
I'm just
music.
saying, like everyone says, like, yeah, I'm like, you know, so you've got like actor slash model, or you've got like, you know, let's say producer slash DJ, or it's very difficult to do two things at once, right? So you can be a graphic designer and an artist, but you're actually been a badass photographer, and you're a pretty fucking exceptional DJ, and now you're a solo artist as well. I mean, come on, mate, fuck
And
off.
I teach yoga.
And you teach yoga now, all right? But I mean, come on, that is some serious like hat switching, man.
Yeah, see, like for me, I honestly think like while I have the energy and so much like enthusiasm and passion for different things, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna keep going till I literally like fall dead.
Mm.
So, um, that's like I'm a bit of a like I've noticed I'm like that. Like I can't keep still.
Uh-huh.
I have to keep doing something, otherwise, I just get bored. So,
So I mean, doing these
fun.
shoots, I mean, doing these shoots and stuff, right? I imagine you must prepare a shitload, and then you've got subjects that have got massive, potentially massive egos and stuff. And so, how do you make them feel comfortable?
Um, well, when I work with really like high profile people or like big celebrities and such, I barely get a chance to even communicate with them. It's like they literally come on set, they do what they need to do, and then they bounce.
Mm.
Very rarely do I get to have a conversation with someone who's like, super famous, unless they're interested in me. So they kind of do their homework before they meet me. But um, it's I'm really easy to work with, to be honest. I'm not difficult. I'm
Really?
very, yeah,
Sorry, please.
I
I'm
think
just being a twat. Sorry, please continue. Just ignore me. Please carry on.
yeah. I'm easy. I think I just naturally make people feel comfortable because I bring zero ego to the room, to the shoot. For me, it's in my best interest to just like make them feel comfortable. So I'm really easygoing when it comes like that, and I just tend to warm people up by chatting to them, getting to know them. Um, Hopefully, if I know something about their background, I'll be like, you know what, that's so cool and stuff like that. Yeah, see, compliments.
That is true.
Nush,
So Anushka did say
nush,
you are awesome to work with, but I mean, she doesn't count because you know her. So there's a big that doesn't really count. Like a compliment from Anushka, I mean, she's lovely. She'll compliment you because of course.
No, I think she's an honest person. She'd be honest.
Yeah.
And Anushka, I hope you're listening. He's like, he's saying shit about you. Well, she is listening,
I
obviously.
mean,
There
of
you
course
go.
she's listening. What she's
Yeah.
just on her phone typing, not listening. It's on silent. She's like, ha ha ha. Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, are there any tips and tricks, right? So if there's someone that's really, really harsh in front of the lens and they're just not warming
Mm.
up and you're like, you're really stiff, like, is there like sort of one silver bullet that you could say to someone to make them relax and do the, control them or sort of direct them?
There's no magic words as such. But to be honest, it's just like maybe sort of coming in close and having a slightly more intimate chat,
Mm.
being like, look, you can trust me, and if you feel uncomfortable, just say so. If there's anything I can do to make the progress easier, just instead of just, I mean, besides just shooting it, like I will try and make my subject feel as comfortable as possible. And the best way to start that is music. I put
Yeah.
on their favorite music. I'm like, yo, what's your favorite music? Let's play that. Let's kick everybody else out of the room. Let's just go one on one.
Excellent.
That's,
In fact, Anushka's just
yeah.
bollocked me saying she's complimenting you because she's worked with her again and again because she's good, not because she's a mate. So, all right, fine, I'll take my beats. I was just taking the piss now. Come on.
I was just taking the piss, love.
Yeah, actually,
Some
so
good
that's
old English banter there.
that's an interesting point, right? So your transition to music, right? You've got, and also I've got to be honest with you, right? So you're like someone that's gone from like traditionally, if someone's like progresses in this world, the transition from behind the camera to in front of the camera is often the other way around. It's normally like I've been in front of the camera, then I'll transition behind.
Mm.
You've kind of done it the other way around, right? Or were you always kind of both?
No, no, I was never in front of the camera. In fact, I stayed away from that for the longest time just because I was more confident behind the camera. I
Yeah.
thought that's where my place was and that's where what I was good at. But over the years, as like the dynamics changed, I started like becoming a brand as opposed to just a photographer. I was doing other things. I started DJing, so that automatically got me in front of an audience. And
Mm.
so things like that, brought me in front of the camera a lot more. There were interviews, there were people wanted me to model for them, and it was sweet. And I was just like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And then, you know, over that, I've sort of also come to know myself a little bit better. And yeah, it's been really easy. Now I can jump in front of a camera and I know exactly what I'm doing. And
Mm.
I have no, I'm not as shy or as underconfident as I used to be. So yeah.
And I guess you know exactly. I mean, that's got to be interesting. Do you switch into mode? So you're in front of the camera, you're like, yeah, they're not framing this correctly, or the lighting's fucked on this. I'm just gonna go and tell them what to do now. That must
I
really piss you
do.
off. Yeah, yeah. It must be like,
I do.
the angle's wrong. They've got to just move their hands down a little bit and just like shit like that.
Yeah, I am very critical though about myself. I always have been, whether it's been my work or whether it's been my photographs. I think as artists we all are. I mean, I don't know anybody that's not self-critical. So,
I was going to say,
um,
anyone that is, there's kind of a bit of an issue there. I mean, I guess selling your work is one thing, especially when you've got something to promote.
yeah,
But in
yeah,
your own head, you're always just going, that was shit. I wish I did that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I'm also very particular now about what goes out, um, whether it's my work or my photographs. Everyone has to be particular about what they put out about themselves, what image they're trying to represent, what they're trying to say, and basically just aesthetics wise. So it has to suit my aesthetics. Otherwise, I'm just like,
Mm.
nah, next.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, that's the thing. I've
yeah.
also, so I mean, like, we've obviously known each other for fucking ever, for like 16 years, um, and 15 years rather. And we've been to like countless festivals and hung out. And, the whole premise of this thing that I do is that I get to have a drink with friends that I've known for many, many years. Or actually, maybe not. But the one common thread is they've all seen me be a drunken ass. So that's like quite nice. But I've seen you transition from being someone in a crowd to being someone behind the decks. And I've seen how you prepare your sets and shit backstage and just how fucking ratchet you get with your preparation. Like, I'm an asshole. I'll just turn up and just hit play and just like, woohoo. And you're just so gangster, like, right, I'm going to focus on this and hone in on that. And that discipline, it just astounds me.
Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, but it's like, is that from the photography world, or is that just the way you're wired?
I think that's just the way I'm wired, like I don't have room for failure in any aspect or for fucking up. I'm, pretty like I've always been a hustler, like
Mm,
since I can remember, but a good hustler, like in a good way. And it's always I just think being prepared and is just a bonus, you know what I mean? That's all. And I enjoy making sure that I curate a show or a gig that is going to progressively get better, and
mhm.
hopefully, you know, hopefully people like it.
See,
That's the main
it's,
target.
it's an interesting one, because I was thinking about sort of the amount of like learning your craft is one thing, and then getting out of the way of the art is another. Do you know what I mean? Sort of like getting all the technical shit down and then just letting the art flow is kind of cool. I'm
Yeah.
just wondering, do you ever have, is that where you've reached in photography now as well, where you can just go like, yeah, done?
No, I think it really depends on the job. Every job is different, every brief is different.
Mm,
Every time it can be new and challenging as well. So,
yeah,
um, it's not like I sit at home anymore and practice the art of photography. I don't, I'm not sitting there learning. I mean, learn new things, but it's not something that I can implement every day and practice.
yeah,
So
yeah,
for me, when I go to a shoot, that's my practice. And that's where I have to make sure that I don't mess it up and
yeah.
make it, hopefully you make all the mistakes all the years before and you're learning from those, and then like, okay, what to do and what not to do.
Where did
um
that start? Like, how did you get into it?
Into photography.
Yeah.
It's been 15 years now.
I mean, yeah, but like, how did it start? Like, what
How
was
did
that?
it
What was
start?
that? What, like, you went from that to like a big point, right? So where did that, okay, let me rephrase that. What was your big break then? If you want to get really fucking stereotypical, as like a proper question. What was the big moment that was like, haha, that is it?
Oh, I don't think I've had just one big moment. I think there were a bunch of small moments that made it big.
Mm.
I don't think there was like one job. I get asked that question a lot. What was the turning point in your career?
And I hate
or
asking obvious questions. I'm sorry. It's
no,
like
no, no, it's fine. But it's
not
just
the
like
point of these things.
I can't really pinpoint one thing that made it big for me. But I
Okay, so
know,
what was the series of events that led it to make you go, right, I've fucking arrived?
yeah. So I think it was just being able to work with bigger brands, bigger names, getting paid more. That was definitely like, okay, I'm definitely getting better at this, you know.
Mm.
But I think it was more just the sort of recognition that I was getting from my work. That's when I knew that I was having an effect on people, or that people were appreciating the stuff that I was doing. And it wasn't just a job. It was it was like, hey, you know, what you're doing is really good, and it stands out, and you as a person, you know, like what you bring to the table is amazing. So I would say that, and I would say it took me about a good 6 years to get there. So I started my career in 2005, and I would say around 2010, 11 is when things really shot up for me. But it took some time to get there.
Yeah, that's not an overnight thing at all. But then overnight things are
No.
never really overnight things anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, shit, there was a whole thing. And I'm going to ask you another thing about like the most ridiculous things people have asked you in terms of your actual mates. But when you started repping Fuji, I was like, yo, because I love Fuji cameras. I was just like, look, I have all these technical problems and I bombard you with ridiculous questions constantly, like constantly. And then your Adobe hookup as well, which is just incredible. And it got me thinking, like, and it's got to have been, I mean, was it tough being a woman in India getting all this shit? Or was it that your talent just outshone any of those issues?
Um, Initially, it was really hard, I have to say. But I think the fact that I just stuck to it and just kept doing what I was doing and getting better at what I was doing, automatically, it being a woman came into my favor. And then, uh, I guess because I when I started, I was the only female fashion and beauty photographer in the industry.
Not a glamour
Um,
photographer, which we corrected personally ages ago.
Yeah, well, you'd say the glamour industry, I guess. You could say that because then that
Yeah,
incorporates everything. That incorporates
yeah.
film, incorporates music, fashion, beauty, all that sort of stuff.
Mm.
So, um, but yeah, it was difficult as a woman, but then eventually, that made me stand out also because people were like taking notice that I was doing really well, and then I was slowly getting all these jobs, and then getting bigger jobs, and then just continuing to like grow and climb this ladder. And I forgot
Maybe
the gist of the question completely.
no, no worries, no, no. But I'm guessing that actually that must make the whole male gaze aspect on make your female subjects feel really fucking comfortable, because there's just there must be a certain energy that is just not there in terms of the male gaze. I mean, and therefore you have
Yeah,
a different energy, which must make everyone feel way more comfortable.
yeah, yeah. I do get hired a lot to shoot women, especially because they feel more comfortable with a woman photographer. I think also the way women shoot women is completely different to the way men shoot women. I feel it's totally different. Although there are some amazing male photographers out there who shoot women just like I wish I could have done that, but I think women just have a different outlook on things and different aesthetics when it comes to shooting other women. So.
Can you give me an example? Like how like give me yeah, please give me an example. That's interesting to me.
I don't know because I guess maybe when a guy looks at a woman, I mean, even when a woman looks at a woman, we look at all. I mean, because you're shooting a physical aspect, you're not shooting the mental aspect of a person in this. So you
Yeah.
are looking at all these beautiful like parts and things that make up, the photograph. But I guess it's just the way you approach it. I can't really tell because I've never seen the other side of it, in the sense like I've never seen a guy shoot another girl. Well, actually, no, I
Right.
have. I lie. I lied. I completely lied. I have. Um, I just find it, I don't know, I just find it different. I just think like we as women know other women so well. We know exactly how to move our bodies or what are the special things about our bodies. We can automatically like relate to the other woman without say sexualizing her or you know
Mm.
just you know
So is it more? So
like
it's basically a case of like treating the person as a subject, not an object, and therefore you can frame things differently.
sorry, you're gonna have to repeat that again.
Is it a case of treating the person like a subject and not an object.
Treating the person like a subject and not an object.
Yeah. So you can be analytical and look at something with your artistry, but not objectify that person. So that whole element is removed.
Yeah. So I would, yeah, like I always approach my subject as a subject. I will never just approach them as an object, which I have sometimes seen on shoots where people are just like a little, they don't bring any emotion into it. They kind of just direct, quite abruptly, or quite like, I don't know the right word to describe it right now, but yeah, it's like I don't objectify my subjects at all. I really, really get into their being so that I can get the best out of them, you know. I would never go on a shoot and say, hey, just do this and do this and do this. It's not like that. I don't order people around on a shoot. It's like I'm very sweet like that.
Well, Siona in the comments is just saying, have you or would you ever photograph yourself? And I'm guessing you probably have in this world of Instagram and shit, but I'm reckoning it's a real camera.
Yes, I have Siona. I have photographed myself many times actually. And just recently though, like it's not something I've done over the years. It's literally something that I've done in the past 1 year, where I've shot myself a few times, especially in isolation and being in lockdown. It's been a fun experiment, like figuring myself out, and doing it yourself is hard. So, but it's been
Do you use
good.
the remote cam app that Fuji has?
Most of the time I was actually using my phone for these shoots.
Okay.
I think the only time I used my camera was once, and I used a self timer for that.
Achha. So not that much of a brand ambassador for Fuji, then I'd say. Okay, fine, fair enough.
Shit guy, you are.
I just take it. I mean, that's the other thing. So then you obviously became this amazing DJ with, you know, I've seen you play several times. You know, we've DJed together and stuff, or played the same venues and ran around festival fields and all sorts of ridiculous things. But then lockdown happened, and you're like, shit. And then, like, last week you released your second ever single, and I forget when your first single came out, like you as an artist.
It was last October.
Huh. So kind of, okay, so it's maybe 6 months before lockdown then.
Yeah.
Which was when Falling came out, and then Take came out last week. And are you going to do songs with more than one word in the title?
You're such a shit guy. Well, first, I thought you were actually going to ask me if I was going to write more lyrics.
I mean, that too. I mean, fuck.
That too, yeah.
That
no,
too.
no. So there's plans for all of that. In fact, hey, don't diss my style, yo.
What? No, I mean, fucking what, man? Dude, it's bar chat. It's not a fucking interview. So yes, I'm gonna,
I know.
review a little bit. His elbows are looking quite moisturized. Very good. Yeah, sorry. Carry on.
I ain't gonna say anything about that. It's a bar chat that's public, okay?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So the thing is that, like, with all these, I'll tell you why these two songs I released with like such short messages, and they're not like verse, chorus, is because I was making all these tracks on a loop station. So for me, it was all about looping. And then I realized that, I mean, it was interesting to just have these same words repeated over and over again, just maybe delivered differently throughout the track or just overlaid with each other. And it was really literally about just sending a very basic message out there, but very metaphorically, if I might put it. So,
You're painting with sound, I guess.
Yeah, and it was more experimenting. It was more fun. It was like, I'm not here to prove anything to anybody, to be honest. I just want to be able to make some fun stuff and release it with the world. And if anybody, can relate to it, then great. If it touches them, then great. Even if it touches one person likes it, I'm happy.
Apart from yourself, you mean? Yeah.
Apart from, fuck you. You're a shit guy, man.
I know. I love it. I revel in it. It's fun.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's been great, and I actually do have full-fledged songs, like, but they're there and they're coming. I wanted to do one more track very similar to these two.
Uh-huh.
It was supposed to release as 3 three songs in an EP, but things were just taking too long to happen. So
And then isolation happened, of course. So
then isolation happened, and it just gave me more time to like just get this stuff done because a lot of it was anyways had to be done over the internet. Um,
yeah.
so it was fine, you know, just sending files, mastering, mixing, and then just putting it together. And we have a video coming out in a week's
Ooh,
time.
fancy.
Yeah,
Was
it's
that
like
shot in isolation as well?
no, that was shot right before the lockdown. It was shot in Feb, I think.
Oh my God, I've just, because I'm working with Bhavan on this entire Bhavan project, and I completely forgot that you're in the fucking video for Karma, the first single. How did I forget
My
that?
the other
Avatar.
Anushka, my other avatar,
And
my village woman avatar, and then
look
suddenly
at
I'm
this.
a hip hop
As,
fucking artist on a boat.
just as I said that, Bhavan jumps on the chat. Big up Bhavan. That's just ridiculous, serendipitous. Look at that. Talk about timing.
I actually reminded him that we were going live tonight, not to go live as well.
That's fucking funny. That is funny. But yeah, so what was actually, that's a good point. That character that you play, which is like this hip hop villager slash queen.
Ask him.
No, I'm asking you. What did you? I know what it was. I want you to tell me what you think it was.
Sorry, what was the question?
That character that you played in his video, Karma, in the
Yeah.
music video for Pavan's track Karma, which came out last year, I think. Did it come out last year? No, it came out in March. No, it didn't. When did it come out? Shit, I should know this. Well, whenever the fuck it came out. That character was, as you said, a villager. I'm just swearing at you, villager. And a queen and also a rapper, all in one.
Yeah, I mean, I think these are just different storylines that he wanted to portray in his music video. And
Pavan just said she was my shorty. Okay, great.
she was my,
And I think it's not a cuss on your height. I think it's just, anyway, please continue. I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
no, I just a rapper. No, I wasn't rapping. He's fucking it up, Pavan. He's fucking it up. He's just talking shit.
Standard.
Yeah, I was the just the chick in the background pretending to rap on Pavan's voice.
Well, pretend to be the BVs, the backing vocalist, like, yeah, the hype woman. That's what you were, the hype woman.
The hype woman, the back. Yeah. That was hilarious.
On a boat. Where were you? Vrindavan, right?
Vrindavan or somewhere, yeah. I just remember I landed right back from LA and I was in Delhi, and I think from Delhi I came straight to meet Pavan somewhere in Vrindavan, I guess. And it was like really strange because I landed up like in the middle of the night, and then we had to shoot at like 6 a.m. in the morning or 5 a.m. in the morning. So I'm like doing my makeup in the dark in this hotel room in the middle of nowhere. And we go out for this shoot, and it was great when we got out there. It was actually beautiful and nice for me to see a new place also because I don't think I'd ever been. Or I think I went once for a shoot ages ago. Yeah, I haven't actually traveled that much within India. I mean, except to the main cities for gigs and shoots. I haven't really traveled to all like the slightly more cooler cultural places, you know.
Huh.
But
No, I just thought your shoots with magazines would take you into some weird spots, like some far-flung areas and things.
not all the time. Most times we go when you're shooting on and you're going on location, you're usually looking for a location that's going to literally support the whole shoot. So, you know, you need something that's fancy, something that's going to like provide food and accommodation for you. So you really, very rarely do you go out in the middle of nowhere where you have nothing. And if you do, you're probably staying at a really nice fancy place and then driving like 4 hours out, shooting and then coming back, you know. So with magazines, it's a lot of times it's like a barter system, you know, where the magazine will the location will get credits and stuff in the magazine, and I don't know.
All that business. Works. It becomes like a hotel advert, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, your video wasn't shot in isolation, but like it's out next week. What is it the same as your cover art? Because the cover art's fucking spectacular.
Yeah. That's what I look like in the video. That's one of the looks that I have. I have 3 looks in the video.
That was when you had your braids and such.
Yes, when I had red braids in my head. Yeah. So yeah, it's fun. It's really different to my first video. It's a little more like poppy in the commercial space, maybe, but it's also fun. It's got a bit of cheese in there. It's
I
got a
mean, the
lot of
song's
cheese.
not that cheesy. I actually quite like it. I'm like, okay.
The song is not cheesy at all.
Yeah.
I'm saying the video might be.
How? How? Tell me, what do you mean by cheese? Like
Not.
a shot of a lump of brie going towards the camera, like. Oh,
Everywhere
oh,
you.
oh, 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 oh. What is Jay-Z's favorite cheese? Beyonce.
Oh God. Okay, good one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what do you mean by cheesy, man? Because I can carry on with these cheesy jokes forever, as you know.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying it maybe because I'm feeling a bit nervous about it. But
Okay.
it's got. I mean, I don't want to give too much away, actually. I don't
Okay.
want to be. Yeah, I just want people to see it and hopefully enjoy it. And if they don't, then oh well.
Never mind, eh? Never mind. I think it's a fucking great. I also like the fact that it's come out like on the whole Red Bull thing that Sprike is doing, which is wicked
Yeah,
because it's like a combination of several artists from India. That Sprike Tejas is an artist in India who's curating all these acts, and Red Bull have put out. That's wicked because you're amongst like crew basically.
yeah. It was a really. This one was a really big one for me in that sense. Like, I was quite happy that they picked the track to showcase and to premiere on their handles and stuff. So yeah, for me, it was a good push that I kind of felt like I needed as well. And we'll enjoy. So yeah, I was really excited. I'm very grateful to Red Bull and to Tejas for taking that up and pushing out the track. And yeah, I'm excited for it. It's been like since October I haven't released anything. So for me, this has been like a little bit of like weight off my shoulders that okay, second track is out. We've done something
Mm.
cooler with it. It's getting more leverage. It's getting more, attention. And yeah, being an independent artist here that really doesn't have too much like backing is it's hard to break out. It's really hard to break out. But I mean, that's not at the moment, that's not my big aim. I just want to get out there and just slowly put stuff out and hopefully like build a base that people like. And yeah,
Yeah, it took you years to actually eventually release your own music. It took you fucking years. I remember you talking about it
yeah.
ages ago and then like finally doing it. What was the final impetus? What was that last push that made you go, fuck it, I'm gonna do it?
Ooh, I just think I was ready. I was just so tired of waiting around and talking about it all the time. And when I met, I was looking for producers to help me produce the music. So I, was going through a bunch of people, and then finally, Sid Vashi and I got in touch, and that was the turning point because he was like, "I really love your demos. I like what you're doing. I
Mm.
believe in what you're doing. So let's just do this." And I was like, "Great, let's do this." So a lot of it was done remotely because he ended up going off to Australia. Um, but we managed. We did a couple of sessions in the studio, and then I went in and recorded in Bombay. And yeah, that's why it also took a long time. But we finally got it out, and I was like, I'm not gonna be that musician that makes 100 tracks and puts out the 101st one. That's not gonna be
Mm.
me. I'm gonna put out my first one and just put it out.
And
I
then
don't
one day
care.
I'll be that person that releases everything immediately.
Yeah.
Build
So
to
I'm
it.
just
Shit.
like, so I was just like, I don't have to wait to get this out. And it was just something that was really close to my heart and really something that I enjoyed making. And people who heard it enjoyed it and loved it. And I was just like, that gave me the confidence to put it out.
Yeah.
Um,
Because
and
it's
if I
very
didn't,
unlike what you DJ. Like it's completely different to what you actually play out.
oh yeah, 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 yeah. I have multiple personalities.
I can see. Just in that one video shoot with Bhavin alone, you were 3 to 4 people.
Yeah, yeah, true. Um,
And
yeah. So
in fact,
I have, yeah.
sorry,
Sorry,
go on,
go.
go on, carry on, carry on.
I like all kinds of music, but to be honest, like when I DJ, I really like hard bass music, because I like to dance to that. I feel that really hits my spot when I'm out partying. But when I like to sing and when I like to make music, it's very mellow. It's very, very calm. It's very soothing.
I mean, that
It's
was the
very
other thing.
sad,
I mean, it's emotional. I don't know whether it's fully sad.
emotional. It's
It's emotion.
emotional.
It gets your your glands flowing. That's not the right word. Um, it gets your, yeah, the emotions is the right word, I think. Yeah, not glands. Glands is very bad. But the other thing I was going to ask, right, is that the whole you singing thing is kind of fascinating to me as well. Because I was like, what the fuck, you sing?
And she cooks too, okay?
And then fuck off. It's not as if I'm saying get in the kitchen, bastard. I'm like, get, like, what the fuck? I'm just like, I was just I mean, like, okay, fine. No, she photographs too, bastard. Actually.
Okay,
But yeah,
sorry, Nerm. You went out for a second. I think it might be my internet because it's pissing down with rain outside.
no, I was saying
Mm.
that basically the singing aspect surprised me because, like, when you're producing, that's one thing because this is your solo stuff that you're co-producing with Sid Vashi. But you singing was something I never fucking knew about, and you kept that
Yeah,
very well hidden. I was like, what?
yeah. I
Because let's
mean,
be honest. Because you could have, you know, enough people that you could have been guest vocals on fucking anything you wanted to over the last 15 years. Let's be frank, right? So you coming out solo and using your own voice is something that producers take fucking years to do.
yeah. I don't have the best voice, to be honest, but I don't sound too bad. I mean, we all have those auto-tune things that happen every
Plenty
now
of
and then.
effects. Yeah, it's great. It's wonderful.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought why not? I mean, I enjoyed singing. I took singing classes, I took piano classes, so it's not like I just came out of nowhere and decided that I wanted to just sing and sang. I had to like prep for it a lot.
As you do, because
So
that's what you do.
I'm very disciplined. Yeah.
Well, actually, there's a wonderful question here, right, from Yokai. I'm going to put up the screen. There you go. How do you effectively balance all that you do? That's a great
Ooh.
question.
Oof. Right.
Hi,
Okay.
KN. While she's composing her mind, while Anushka's going, KN says, hello, you sound lovely. Your tracks are fire. There you go.
Hi, sweetheart. Mwah. She, by the way, is one of my favorite artists in India right now.
Anaya.
So, who?
Anaya.
Kayan Ambika.
Okay. Ambika. Fuck. I thought it was that name backwards. I was very confused. Yeah, very confused. That last track she put out was amazing.
Yes. Big ups,
Great.
girl. Um,
So
but
the
how do I
question to you was, how do you balance what you do?
how do I balance
All that you
myself?
do, rather.
All that I do.
All that you do.
It's not easy. It's really difficult, and I have to really sort of like
Your
I
talents are like gremlins. They multiply out. Just like there's like many,
yeah,
many cards you're holding. It's like, how the fuck do I hold all these cards?
yeah. No, it takes a lot of planning. And it's also like, I mean, photography is something that now I can kind of do with my eyes closed. It's not something like I said, I don't have to practice that at home anymore. So it's just when I have a shoot that I go. Um, I've managed to make time over the years to do my other passions. I deliberately took time out to learn music. Um, I took time out when I was doing my acro yoga and aerial silks. Um,
I've got it written down in my notes. Ribbon. I was going to ask you
ribbon,
about ribbon.
the
Yeah,
ribbon.
the
I mean,
ribbons.
that was a long time ago. That was 2013. But like,
Yeah.
I took a good year. I took 6 months off photography just to learn that and do that. But that yeah. Sorry, to get back to the question is just I somehow find balance, and I do that through a lot of meditation as well. And I just plan really well. I think I'm a good planner and executor.
I think it's
Um,
interesting that your approach is kind of linear to each discipline, but then once you've got to a certain thing, you can let it run. So then it becomes parallel. And so you're like operating like a
exactly.
fucking tree as opposed to just one thing just at one
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's excellent. Someone's like Almighty Durga with all those hands. Yeah, man. And the multiple personalities we just discussed. Because that is the other thing. Like, I've seen you fucking rage, and then I've seen you really calm and meditative. And that must have definitely, like, you're in Goa now. You're a fucking yoga teacher that no one knew about. that calmness
I
must be
just I
completely
just
taken over.
just completed a very short but very intense teacher's training at I mean it's not even as much as I need to do to actually be a proper qualified like teacher, but I am a certified. Yeah.
Huh.
Um but yeah, I haven't done like the whole 200 hours basically, but um yeah, I mean that's my balance. That's what I do. I'm extremely into my health and fitness, and so I think that really balances out my very extreme, well, none of us have a party life at the moment, but that part of me, that side
Yeah.
of me.
I
Yeah.
think it's fascinating. There's like, do you know Charlie Brooker is a writer and director, and he started off. Okay, so he's done things like, gosh, what would I tell you that he's done? Oh, fuck, he invented Black Mirror. So he's the writer on Black Mirror. He created Black
Okay.
Mirror, right?
Mm.
And before that, he was a writer. Before that, he reviewed video games. He created a bunch of sort of satires in the UK. And it was one quote of his that stuck in my head was that if you can turn your passion into a job and continually keep doing that, that's the way to do it. So he fell into video games. He loved video games. He fell into
Yeah.
writing comedy on TV. Sort of, it was
Yeah.
like, it's obviously a concerted effort, but it's like a constant way of actually making sure you can get paid from what you love. And it seems like with your yoga course, you'll set up a whole new fucking business just like next week or something, doing like Zoom yoga classes or some shit.
I've been doing classes for the past,
Well, there you go.
I've been doing classes for more than 2 years now, but
Okay.
I just do them with, I used to just do them with my friends and stuff. And now I'm going to start opening it up to the public here in Goa because I just found a studio that's literally like not even 5 minutes from my house. It's a cute little space. So I'm actually doing my first class there tomorrow in the morning.
Acha.
And yeah, it's exciting because I do everything that I'm passionate about. I don't, I'm not forcefully trying to do this and that. I'm just doing
Yeah.
whatever comes naturally and what really like what excites me. And I think that's why I'm able to do all these things is because I'm super passionate about everything I do. And that's where I find the balance.
But
And
also
I
then
don't,
making a living out of it. No, that's the critical part. To make it sustainable is quite difficult. People are passionate, but then to make it a living is really hard, right?
yeah, I don't think I really ever got into, so for me, photography is my main income, always has been, I think always will be, unless I blow up into the next, I don't know, I'm not even gonna say it. Anyway,
The next thing.
um, but I never got into music or yoga for the money. It was something that I was purely passionate about. I never thought I would make money off it. If I did, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
But for me, photography is my main bread and butter. And
Did you feel that when you got into photography, or was that a passion? Was that a deliberate, like, that will be my career and that's what I'll live off of? Was it similar in terms of, I'm just going to do this, I love it, and the money is almost going to be a byproduct?
yeah. See, I didn't know at the time what was really going to benefit me. I just knew that photography was probably a better path to take than music at the time, which is why I chose photography. But I had no clue as to what kind of money I was going to make or how I would survive. I
Because
was
who
just
does, right? Exactly.
nobody
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
knows. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was just winging it and a lot of luck and a lot of hard work and here I am.
Yeah. That's fucking awesome, man. Yeah, I didn't mean to grill you about that. I just thought that was quite an interesting thing because,
Yeah,
like I said,
yeah.
somehow I think your preparedness and your professional approach to all these endeavors makes it sustainable. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone can, and I mean that in the highest of compliments. Is that of course it's passionate, and of course it's artistic, but there's a certain discipline that means that you can then sustain yourself, which is fucking badass. Because I didn't have it for years. I was just an asshole, and it took ages to figure that part out. So
Yeah.
I'm in awe of someone like you that just has it like pang, 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 pang. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the one thing that you haven't turned into an enterprise, as far as I know, is your love of dogs.
What do you mean?
Like, you haven't set up a fucking kennel or dog training service or any of that shit.
I have not, but when I was in Delhi, I was running a little uh organization with my friends called Puppy Love Delhi. And we would go around like vaccinating, sterilizing, feeding, all the strays in our um areas, in the areas that we lived in. So I did do that for like a few years when I was in Delhi.
Was that like a public service thing, or was that an enterprise?
No, it was more like it was private. It was whatever we were doing. But I did put it out publicly in a sense like
Mm.
I made a page. People would call me
Yeah.
for help, literally. They're like we found some dog in the road, and then I was just like it was really like it was hard to keep it up because it was very heartbreaking
Yeah.
towards the end, and then it got a bit too much, and then I left, and when I came to Goa, it was a lot more of like self work that I was doing, so I couldn't concentrate too much on the dogs. But I still have two brats at home that I take care of that are street dogs. Um, I mean, they were street dogs and now adopted, obviously.
Now they're house dogs.
Now they're house dogs.
They went from the
But
street to the studio, and now they're all just plush and like living at large and shit. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
4 bitches in one house. It's a bit much.
I didn't say
I
that.
said it.
That
I
was
said
you,
it.
man.
I
I'm
said
not
it.
saying shit, man. You and your hip hop references are all just coming out now. Yeah, yeah. From the street to the house, now there's 4 bitches in my yard and rare. That's all from Pavan's last music video, I think. Well, the first music video. So listen, one thing I am still in fucking complete like haze about is where you're from and where you lived. I have no like. It seems to me
You
that
have
you're
no
like
recollection?
no, it's in like we've had very vague conversations about where you were born, where you grew up, where you moved to. And I remember having a conversation with you in Delhi with your cousin, I think, at some restaurant fucking years ago. And I drank a lot. I don't know what you drank. I drank a shitload. So it's a bit hazy because we were talking about, I think it was your accent that I was just like, where did that come from? Because it's quite international. And so, yeah, where the hell were you born? And what was that
Okay,
whole part?
so
Yeah,
I was actually born in New Delhi.
right.
But when I was 2 weeks old, I was taken to Muscat, which is where I grew up. My parents and my sister were already living in Muscat before I was born, but because my mom had her doctor in Delhi that delivered my sister, she's like, I want to go back, deliver you in Delhi, and then bring you back as soon as we can. So
Right.
when I was born with a heart murmur. I had jaundice. So unfortunately, I was kept in the hospital for a couple of weeks under like a bright light.
Oh, no.
Uh, yeah, but I survived.
That
And
explains your rich skin tone, that kind of, that good tone that you have. Yes, very
the
good.
bronze, yeah.
The bronze, kind of pancakey, but good. Yes. Yeah. The golden glow, let's say. Yes.
And the lion's mane.
Yeah. You are a lion. Exactly. But yes, sorry,
Yeah.
please continue.
So yeah, so I was born in Delhi, but basically I grew up in the Middle East in
Mm.
Muscat. And then I was there till I was about 16. Then I went to Australia to study. And then after Australia is when I moved to India for the first time.
I didn't
I
know
mean,
about Australia at all. Whereabouts in Australia?
I was in Melbourne. Yeah.
Fuck off. My sister's in Melbourne. No way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No way. What?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what did you study in Melbourne?
I studied art design and communication.
Ah, shit. Okay.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. It sort of that was my first taste of like the real world, and I was on my own. I mean, I had family that was living in Australia,
I
but
mean,
I
you're
saw
brown. Of
often.
course, you had family all over the world. I mean, that's just what it is. I
Yeah,
mean,
we're
yeah,
all over the place.
exactly. Fucking everyone's like, there's a cousin around there. Okay, of course there is. But yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
please continue. Then you moved back to Delhi from Australia.
Then I moved to Delhi in 2003.
Uh-huh.
And then I just never left, basically. Got stuck in India, which was great,
And
actually.
then
It
how
did me
did you
well.
end up in England then? There's been 2 times in London that I remember, and I was discussing this as well. I was just thinking, I remember one really civil night with you in a bar, and then one really fucking hazy, chaotic night, which was just like it felt like I was in like a massive barrel just being shoveled down the road and tumbling and stuff.
Yeah, I have no recollection of that either.
Ah,
London, I have family
okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
that live in London that have always lived in London. In fact, we would have been living in England if I hadn't. Well, there were circumstances that happened that didn't allow us to move to England, but a lot of our family is in England
Okay.
and has been before I was born. I mean,
Uh-huh.
in fact, my whole dad's side of the family was living in England till the partition happened. My grandmother came back to India and decided to live here, where the rest of the family lived in England. So there's a very small part of us that live in India, but the rest of us actually, the bigger family is in England. So I would go there often as well to meet
Okay,
them.
cool.
Plus, yeah. So
Well, that makes sense.
when you met me, I mean, every time you met me in London, I was staying with my family in Bethnal Green. So,
Fuck! You're Bethnal Green, that was up the road. She was just saying, hang on a
yeah.
second, do some crack with your nose ring. I can't, bruv. It's not, it doesn't really, brother or sister or whatever. They. But yeah, I can't do that. And then also, big up, there's just comments are popping off on this. Arun's asking the same question about how you manage all your time with everything you do.
Just because I'm passionate about everything that I do.
There you go.
So I figure out how to make it all work within the time frame I have.
Somehow. But I think, you know what? The interesting thing is that I think that the whole lockdown thing has allowed for everything to stop. And then, like, for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm not missing out on anything. Like, if I
Yeah.
was to sort of spend too much time on a computer game or being really geeky learning a piece of software or some other nerdy shit that I'm into, that I'd be missing out on the rest of the world's progression. And right now I'm like, everyone's kind of slowed down to my pace, so I can just relax a little.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you
The
felt the
lockdown
same?
has been the lock. I mean, for me, I was anyways about to take a break at the end of March because I was falling sick a lot. I was pretty sick throughout December, January and February,
Oh,
up till
shit.
the beginning of March, and I was anyways in need of a break. So the lockdown happened like perfect timing for me in order to get my health back together and in order for me to just concentrate more on myself and the other things that I wanted to do besides just working.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, for me, it's been very productive, very healing, very inspiring, and just much needed time off, to be honest. And everybody has had to slow down, so it's kind of, I think it's a good thing for everyone in a way. But I mean, obviously there are the downsides of people losing their jobs, not being able to work, us being not being, nobody's, in our circle of friends or in a larger group of people have not been able
Mm.
to make any money and work, and it's been really
Yeah,
sad
absolutely.
too.
I think also, I mean, the one positive is that I've been able to get beauty tips off you. So, like, the whole, like, basically, I have a real issue with balding, and she clearly doesn't. So, I've got this whole issue with, like, I want to do a hair on my head. But also, I want to get rid of all the annoying stuff, like the hairs here and stuff. So, Anushka very graciously sent me a lot of lasering tips, which was awesome. I don't think that would have happened if it wasn't for lockdown, where I was just like, I want to get the hair off my shoulders off and these little bastards that grow between my eyebrows out of my face. So, there's been upsides to that too.
Yeah, there's been there's been a lot of beauty sharing tips here between you and me, and yeah, I
Properly.
mean, there's been a lot of great catch-ups that I've been able to do with all my friends all over the world, and it's just been actually some quality time with people, but online, obviously, more
Mm.
than more than meeting. But it's just been a great way to just slow down and concentrate on things that are really important and refocus and reshift things and I think, well, at least I'm talking about just personally.
Yeah.
So I don't know if everybody's been able to do that, but for me it's been a really great time that ways. But yeah,
Well,
the downside of not working and downside of like being stuck at home. But
mm.
luckily I live in Goa and it's a lot easier here than it is in the cities.
I mean, honestly, I've been feeling like since all this shit, I've been feeling very, very lucky and privileged through all the horrible shit, through all the deaths in the UK and horrific stories coming in. I
Yeah.
think there's a certain amount of privilege. That there's a roof over my head and all this shit. And I get to talk to a friend every week. So thank you for joining me. But there's one other question which I think is dope from Nilesh, which is wicked up on the screen. There you go. Nilesh, according to you, what are the odds of becoming a successful photographer?
Hmm. Staying relevant.
That's interesting because relevance is, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, you have to stay relevant constantly, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And what are the odds of becoming a success? I mean, I got lucky. I got lucky.
Hi,
Um,
Justine. She's on the chat. Big up, Justine.
Hi, Justine. Yeah, it's been like, I mean, it's not an easy thing, especially in a country where we have so many people
Mm.
and everyone is either a photographer or a DJ or a musician or, you know,
Oh,
an
mate,
artist.
don't even fucking start. Okay, so look, right, this is what it took to be a DJ in my day. Was a shitload of records and a set of turntables, right? And every fucking record cost me like 10 to 20 quid,
Yeah,
which is around about like 1 to 2,000 rupees for every one tune I would play out. So the barrier of entry coming down because anyone can do it is great because it sort of legitimizes it for everyone. Well, it
yeah,
doesn't legitimize it, but it makes it accessible to everyone.
yeah,
But the competition for people that call themselves DJs is ridiculous now. So it's
yeah.
got to be the same with photography, right?
Yeah, you have to be really good at what you do, and it's not just a technical aspect. It's the way you curate the whole thing. It's your
Mm.
taste. It's the whole kind of branding and the whole package that you have, I think. Um, yeah, I think sometimes here it's not just about talent,
Yeah,
especially in India.
yeah.
But I'm not saying that I'm not talented. That's
Yeah,
not
I
what
mean,
I'm saying.
you know, of course. I mean, talent's obvious. There's a fascinating book that I read by a guy called John Niven. So John Niven is a writer in the UK who was a music journalist, and he wrote a book which is called Kill Your Friends, which is a cross between American Psycho and the music industry in the 90s, and especially in Britain. So the rise of like Britpop, the Spice Girls, the underground music scene.
Yeah,
And there's one passage that's horrific, and it's about this A&R executive who is basically um, a bit like he's the what's the lead character in American Psycho? Anyway, he's the murderer essentially, and he said that talent doesn't mean shit because talent won't get you out of bed and get you on that morning interview. Like talent won't, you know, you can sit in your room and be talented, but you have to actively get up and do something about it. You have to
yeah,
actually sort of, you know, the difference between a talented indie kid and Jerry Halliwell from the Spice Girls was that Jerry Halliwell would walk across burning coals, run through a forest full of razor blades to do a 6 a.m. interview on breakfast TV. Whereas your indie kid would be like, I can't be asked to do that. So it was
yeah.
that sort of fascinating insight into that 90s music world, which was like, shit, it's that sheer grit and determination
Yeah, absolutely.
that actually
Absolutely.
separates you. Did I just talk over you? Sorry if I did. I
No, no,
apologize.
not at all, not at all. But yeah, that's how I've gotten as far as I've gotten is sheer like perseverance and like pushing through everything and just yeah, going and never
Regardless of
ne
how amazing your hair is and all that. Yeah.
yeah. This has helped. Yeah, I've just always gone for what I wanted, you know. I never have taken, not that I haven't taken no for an answer. I would just nothing is a no for me. Like everything is possible. Everything, if there's a will, there's a way for me always. And
Mm. So
it takes a lot for me to give up on something.
we have a 2 minute warning on this.
Okay.
So shall I call you back or should we wrap this up?
Oh, it's up to you. I'm good to talk. I wouldn't mind getting
Oh,
another drink.
oh, but I'll tell you what. Right, okay, so there's some more questions coming in. So I need to pee as well. So I'm going to go pee and then come back and I'll go live and you rejoin me. And
Okay,
then you
great.
get your drink.
Save this video because I want to go
Oh,
through the
they always get
questions.
saved. They always get saved. So,
Okay, amazing.
so anyone watching now that has a question, rejoin in like 2 minutes because I'm going to go pee and just get a
Yeah,
drink and we'll come back.
yeah. And
Okay.
ask your questions again.
Yeah. Okay, bye. Bye.
Okay, bye.
So we're back. A quick pee break and a switcheroo on the old beverages. And we're here. So thanks to everyone joining after the little gap. And for everyone that asked questions before. Hopefully you'll come back on and ask them again. We are going to be live with Anushka Menon for the second round of this. And like I said last week with Pavan, this is kind of my favourite bit where things are a little bit hazy. You know what I mean? Hey, Anushka's here. That's wonderful. Pang. Hi, Bonehead Bangers. Thanks for joining. Yeah. Hi, Fawzia. How are you? Good to see you. And Anushka's back. Yay!
Hi.
Yeah, sorry I
Made
took
it.
too long. I had to sort of go swap out my beverage too.
Cheers.
Chaz, Chaz. So while we're waiting for everyone to come back on and ask those questions, it's been lovely catching up with you. I kind of miss hanging out with you in a bar. Like, for
Yeah,
real.
I have this memory of us, um, and I think it might have been 2009, um, when we went to a very cool bar that was just down the road from your house in Shoreditch.
Yeah. Into the bottom
No?
of the Albion.
Yeah, and it was such a cool looking space, and I remember I have a photograph of you, sitting at the table.
Mm.
Um,
I found that earlier. So I was going to speak to a friend of mine. Fauzia's just jumped on the comments saying you need some AirPods. Love, these are professional monitors. I'm very happy with
you
wired.
talking about me or you?
Me, she's my friend saying I need some AirPods. And
Wow.
actually, speaking of that, where are they? Look what I found. Black ones.
Oh, those are mine.
That
That
just
has my name
that
all
just
over it.
connected with my phone. Yeah.
Did it just knock you off your Bluetooth? Shit.
Yeah, I was like, oopsie.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Mm.
I remember that bar as well. And there was this whole, there was this artwork in the corner that was a beam of light. And when you moved your head, the words would appear in your peripheral vision.
Yeah.
And it was love. And I wanted a version in my house that said the C word, because that would be just much better and more appropriate to my kind of style of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay, hang on a second. There's a great question here. Today is a sugar day. That's a great name. There you go. What kind of initial steps does an aspiring photographer need to take for making a career in photography?
Good question. Putting yourself out there, I mean, very important. And firstly, like honing in on your craft. Like you really need to know what you're doing and clearly what it is that you want to do. Where do you see yourself? What kind of photography do you like to shoot? I mean, what kind of work do you like to shoot? So that's really important knowing. And I'm actually doing a master class on the 16th next week, in 2 weeks. When is the 16th?
On
In 2 weeks.
what? DJing, photography, modeling, production, what? Looping,
I'm doing
dog
a
training, yoga, silks, ribbon from the ceiling, fucking what?
I am doing a master class on how to develop your style in photography. So how to
Okay.
develop your photographic style, which is like your essential to becoming a sort of successful photographer, and also like to shape your career in photography. And I think most important thing is getting really good at what you do, specializing in something, very important, specializing in a specific subject, and just getting better and better at it. And then, of course, putting yourself out there. The hustle is real, got to be done. It's important to pimp yourself, you know.
Can I ask you a question about
Just like,
craft, right? So for DJing for me, like I said, was analog as fuck, right? So in terms of numbers like BPM, plus or minus or whatever, that's to me a gateway to a feeling, right? To sort of figure out how two tracks can blend together. And the rest of it's kind of
mm,
instinctive. With
mm,
photography and the kind of questions I bore you the fuck with, like I bore you so much, is like with this lens and the speed of the lens, what do I need to do to get correct exposure? So to me, it's a bunch of fucking numbers. There's like f-stop numbers. There's like exposure. There's all this like focal depth. Is that correct?
yeah.
Yeah, all that shit. I mean, like that kind of numerical study seems to be right up your street. Is that important, or is it like, do you just
I
end
mean,
up?
no, no, no. It's important to know the basics, but it's just like it's like putting up the volume on your CDJs. You know what I mean? It's
There's so much more to it than that.
ah!
Don't give me that shit, like turning the volume up on your CD.
It's like
CDJs don't even have any
it's
fucking volume control. What are you talking about?
I meant the masters. The master. That's exactly why I fucked up. I meant the master. The mixer. The mixer.
Okay. Yeah.
So basically, I mean, those are the basics. Like you're just getting your exposure right is the first thing you learn. You know,
Okay.
it's like it's not as difficult as beat matching, for sure not,
So
because
can you give me an analogy? So you've got
yeah,
like volume,
yeah,
treble, mids, bass,
yeah,
right? And you've
yeah,
got channel 2, volume, treble, mids, bass. Can you? Does that work as an analogy to photography in any way?
No, I don't think so. But your
Oh,
main
fuck.
things on a camera, your main things on a camera is like if you're going fully manual, that is okay. If you're doing automatic, then everything's done for you. But if you're going manual, you have to worry about your exposure, your f-stop, your ISO. I mean, these are like the main things. And if you have a digital camera, then even when you look into the viewfinder and you change your exposure around and you change your f-stop around, you'll notice that the screen either goes darker or lighter, and that just tells you immediately whether or not you're in the right whether you have the right exposure or not. You know,
Mm.
it's very, very simple, actually.
But then
Um,
what about in environments
mm,
that we live in, which is like dark, clubby environment, or that I live in and you sometimes come
mm,
into because you're a
yeah.
yogic and all that kind of stuff, and healthy and all. But the dark kind of club environments where I'm like, it looks great. I take a picture. It's just a blurry shit mess. Like,
Yeah, then that has to come with more technical aspect, with knowing that how long do you need to keep the shutter open, or do you need to pump up your ISO? So in the dark, obviously, and if you're taking club shots and you have no flash or another external light source, then you have to be able to just pump up your ISO, make sure that your camera can handle it without getting too grainy,
right. So
and
then it becomes
then
a
shoot.
hardware issue, right?
Yeah, you
So
want
it's like it's
you
like
want to be
time
able to have a
stretching like a sample or time stretching a CD all the way down until it sounds ridiculous. You kind of want the quality of the time
yeah,
stretch to be good.
yeah,
Is that
exactly.
right?
Yeah. You could say that. You can't speed up a track, more than like say 20 or 30 BPM higher than its original. Otherwise, it sounds like shit, right? So
Unless you
you can't.
resample it and resample it, you've got a wicked algorithm to run it. And in which case, ISO is a
Yeah.
similar thing for darkness. Is that correct? I'm just trying to learn myself. That's why I'm just.
Well, this is the worst fucking analogy you put together for comparison of like ISO and the volume control in the mixer.
No, not volume control, time stretching. But anyway, fine.
Time
So
stretching, whatever.
yeah, a degradation. Anyway, whatever. So Shrikant is here saying, is a photographer from Bangalore saying, is curious about the point you made on staying relevant. Could you talk a little more about it?
Say that again.
So Shrikant
Yeah,
is a photographer from Bangalore in the comments and
yeah,
is saying he's just curious about the point you made on staying relevant. Could you
yes.
talk a little more about it? It's kind of an open-ended question, but
Oh, yeah. I have a 2-hour seminar on staying relevant. If you want to.
see a fucking plug again. Like this woman's a hustler like a motherfucker. I thought I
I'm a
was the
fucking
budget here.
hustler.
I mean, shit.
The
Gee, like I have a
thing
seminar
is
for
that
you to come in and watch all of my tips.
I do. I actually did it. I did a seminar on staying relevant because it is so important.
Mm,
That's how you stay in the business. That's how stand out in a profession that's really hard, because it's like we've got so many photographers, so many people out there who are very talented at what they do.
yeah.
But how do you stay in the game and constantly refresh yourself in order to be able to always be um, important to someone to like want to hire you.
Mm.
So
And
staying relevant, I mean, it's all about like firstly like staying up to date, evolving your style, challenging yourself. It's like um it's a lot. It's very hard for me to describe all right now, but I mean, just staying relevant is just about growing, really. Um, growing your art. I'm like, what do I say?
growing your art. Grow
Growing your
your art.
art. Grow it.
Plant it like a seed and then
Water it.
grow it. No, but honestly, there's an interesting thing there, which is about, and I'm a big Prince fan, as a lot of people know, because he's right there, it's Prince. And there's a quest of staying relevant that can actually be detrimental to some people, because you try and keep up with recent trends as opposed to being exclusively yourself. And for me, with many artists, there's kind of like the peak years, then there's kind of the wilderness years, and then there's the re-emergence. You know what I mean? Where you kind of
Yeah.
have to compete with people that are younger than you, that are up and coming,
Yeah.
that are kind of the young lions and young lionesses that are coming up. And you're like, shit, I've got to compete with them. But invariably, there's a sense of failure because their stuff is more relevant than yours. And then there's the re-emergence, you know? So,
Well, it's about reinventing yourself.
right.
Constantly reinventing yourself. And it may not always work, but you have to see, the thing is that what you do over the first initial years of your your practice or your work or your career is that you're building up a name for yourself. You're building up a niche. This is what I do. This is the style that I offer. And sometimes that doesn't have to change. Sometimes people will constantly come back to you for that. But then if you're versatile and you can explore other paths into to sort of like achieving the same thing, just finding different routes to get there. You know what I mean? There's one end goal, but you're just finding alternate ways to get there. And that's how you reinvent yourself. That's how you change up. That's how you grow. So
maybe it's a case of being, sorry, you were saying?
Yeah. No. So I'm just saying that's how you kind of like, um, that's how you kind of just grow as in your art, and you just staying relevant is the most important thing to being successful and just staying in demand. So I hope, Shrikant, I have managed to explain that to you in all that business that I just said. What other question has he got?
So I was going to say that actually there's an interesting parallel that just occurred to me because I'm a few drinks in, was that I guess it's about, in any field, it's about being recognized as an artist for your work. And then, like any other artist, your interpretation of the world around you is what people come to you for. And you adapt because the input is going to be what it is. You know what I mean? So it's like David Bowie doing drum and bass. Like, it can be ridiculed, but it's still Bowie discovery, like working with Trent Reznor and sampling the original Nutter. It's fucking Bowie doing it. So it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It doesn't compete with metalheads, but that's Bowie doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and also Shrikant's asking about how relevant age is in photography.
Age, the good thing about photography is you can be ancient and still be shooting as long as you're good. That's the one thing I bank on. Like, I don't expect myself to, I mean, I could probably do yoga to the very old age. I don't know how much music
I'm sorry. I'm old as balls, right? And you're like, I've known you for 16, 15 years. I think we've got good genes to carry us on in terms of age, in terms of looks at least. We're all right.
I do. I see him, Papan.
Dudu's here. God, I miss clubbing with him, man. I miss clubbing with all of you. I miss India so much. And not so much like right now, but I miss the memory of it.
I mean, you were here most of the time when you could be. I guess.
I've been in India from 2001. So it's been like, I think maybe this is maybe the second longest I've been away. Which has been a year and a half.
Yeah.
So Apu.
What was the question before?
Which question before?
There was a question you asked me before. Sorry, Shrikant had asked again.
The question before Shrikant's?
Oh, was age matter? The age thing. No. Age does not matter. I think we'll be able to stay in this profession for a very long time. Just stay relevant and
Rufi's here. Hi, Rufi. So Apu's asking, will you ever work with an amateur or a first-time model? I mean, I guess that's...
Ooh,
that's interesting, actually, because generally dude photographers that are like, not all dude photographers, but as a male, you'd be like, I'm a photographer. Do you want to come and shoot? Would be a thing.
That was so creepy, no?
Yeah, of course it was. I'm a fucking dude. I know how creepy we can get. But
to be honest, Apu, I have shot first-time models, but most of them are actually not first-time models. They're first-time like characters in front of a camera. So they've never done shoots before. But normally, if I am shooting at this stage in my career. I'm shooting professionals who've been in the business quite some time. They're usually people who I pick, unless I'm on a commercial job, which is completely not in my control.
So you know them beforehand?
I don't necessarily know them, but they're not amateur. Yeah. Very rarely do I work with amateur models. But there have been occasions that I have, and
Is there anyone you want to shoot that you're a fan of? Not in any model, like, is there anyone from a different discipline you'd be like, fuck, I'd love to shoot that?
Oh, that's a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people.
Okay, great answer. So moving on. Amazing succinct response there, Anushka. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Hridaya is asking, after being so passionate about everything you do, is there anything else untapped? I mean, fuck, is there? I mean, is there room for more? Something new you still want to try?
Probably some hidden talents we don't know of. Ooh. I think I'm kind of doing what I want to do for the moment. I don't think there's anything extra that I would like to do. I mean, I'm just
Is,
growing. I haven't completed everything that I wanted to do in music yet. I haven't completed everything that I wanted to do in photography yet. So there's still so much space for me to grow in these fields. So I guess until I reach a point where I'm really happy to where I've reached, I'm not going to move on to another thing because I already think I have my hands full.
But I guess the point is that, like, is there some hobby that you enjoy that may be like bubble up to something else later? So, for example, I love pencils, right? I'm a massive, like, I'm a huge pencil nerd, right? And I'm just wondering, how deep do I go into this hobby? So is there something like that? Actually, maybe nothing like that, because that's really sad. But is there something else that you really enjoy that could bubble up into another thing?
I'm trying to think now. Is there something that I would really end up doing?
Not
That I
end up
really
doing,
like
something
to...
you love that you haven't turned into a practice.
Sorry, say that again? You broke up.
Something that you love that you haven't turned into a practice.
No, not that I can think of. Everything that I've really loved, I've turned into a practice. But something that no,
No.
no,
Okay.
just
I
no.
think next time when the world opens up, we're gonna go drinking properly face to face, and we'll find something. Because there's always
Yeah.
something. Because I'll give you another example. I've got really into reprogramming old school consoles, but I wouldn't go into business doing it. But I love the nerdiness of like soldering and rewiring things to make things work. There's got to be something else. Or are you in pure Shanti mode now in Goa and just like, right, I'm here and relaxed?
Yeah. I mean, something that I'm super passionate about that I would want to like share with the rest of the world. I don't think there's anything just yet. Whatever I have, I am passionate about. I am already doing that you
Right.
guys know about and that I've already shared. But I mean, I have I don't think there's like, oh, I wish I could have done that or I wish I would do that. I mean,
Oh, no,
besides
no.
like,
Or is there a
no,
hobby that you're enjoying right now that isn't that, perhaps?
no.
Because I think there's a gap that you're missing, which is your beauty tips. Because I'm still getting that lasering kit you sent me to do my eyebrows and shoulders.
Okay. You do that. I mean, I love cocktails. I love making cocktails. That's something but the only thing is the reason I didn't say that before is also because I was a bartender. So I think I've kind of already
Fuck off. Where were
done
you a
that.
bartender?
I
Oh,
was
in
a
your
bar,
cousin's bar.
I was, eh?
In your
Who's my,
cousin's restaurant. I remember you mentioned it. Okay, I just had a flashback.
no, no, no,
Sorry,
no, no.
brain fart, brain fart, brain fart.
I was a bartender in Australia when I was studying in Melbourne.
And what was your
So
favorite cocktail?
what was my favorite? The slippery nipple.
I'm getting the recipe.
Yeah, I don't really remember what it was. I think it was Bailey's and uh
That's
you got
disgusting.
it?
It's so disgusting.
It's pretty hardcore, but it was like the easiest thing to get
Wasted on. But it's like,
smashed on. Yeah.
it's Sambuca and Bailey's and Kahlua.
Mm.
Oh,
That's why I can't drink sambuca anymore.
that's so horrible. That is so horrible. I can't. Oh, um, that's really odd. But it kind of makes sense if you're a student somewhere. That makes sense. There was a B-52, which was Kahlua and Bailey's and a drop of
Wasn't that a
something else that.
cowboy? Something?
Wait, I'm gonna get that up. B-52 is what it was called. Uh,
B-52, and there was a cowboy something. There was the slippery nipple. There was a flaming Lamborghini. There
so
was
it's Grand Mariner on top, but it curdles the cream. And there's one
mm.
called Brains, which that's horrible. That's horrible. And then Fawzi in the comments is Sambuca, I'm dead. Oh my god! So this weekend I went out drinking with do you know Dana, Ms. Mohammed? She's like a an amazing, amazing, amazing artist. So you know Iggy Pop, if we
Yeah.
talk about Bowie.
Yeah.
So Iggy Pop is a fan of hers,
Hmm.
and she's a Trinidadian female brown person like yourself. She plays bass. She does Trinidadian dancehall goth as a musical style. Produces and plays her own shit. Ms. Muhammad, look her up. She's fucking amazing. So we're out drinking with her, and then in the park, and she introduced me to a shop called, and I'm going to get this wrong, a big fat hairy badger. Right. And like I was just like, okay, maybe I added the big fat hairy bit, but it's called a badger or something. And it's half a shot of silver tequila and half a shot of sambuca mixed.
Oh,
And it actually works. It's quite euphoric, I've got to say.
that sounds nasty. Very nasty.
It was good. It was good. So Singh's Perspective is asking a question we've already dealt with, but I think you could probably answer it in like a sentence, is how do you prioritize learning and balancing between music and photography?
Fuck. This again.
Yeah. But you could do it in a sentence. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. How do I find the balance between the two? Simply also because one's a daytime job, one's a nighttime job mostly.
That was a new response.
Yeah, I think that's been it's been really, really tasking to do that also, because sometimes I will have a shoot during the day and a gig at night, or a gig at night and a shoot the next morning. And that has torn me apart on many occasions. But music is passion, photography is also passion, but more work and income. So I balance it out just because I have to, and I enjoy it, and I'm very, very passionate about both of them. So, and then when I need time off, I'm literally like horizontal for a week.
Yeah, and everyone fuck off. Or maybe
And
buy
then
me
I
sushi.
and then I rejuvenate and I go back, do it all over again.
Okay, one question, right? Because I think I need to pee again, so I might have to run away. But the Fuji thing still shocks me.
You can leave me here with the comments.
I can.
I'll take
Okay,
over.
cool.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. So everyone ask Anushka questions, and I'm gonna go we.
Yeah, I'm gonna scroll up because I saw some that we may have missed. Give me a second, guys, while I see what's going on here. We should just talk shit about Nerm while he's gone as well. Anybody have any questions? I'm going through. Oh my God, there's so many. Like, I'm just trying to find some relevant ones that I can answer. Hey, Danny, if you're still there. That's the one thing which I always find super challenging, as the generation gap is for real. Haha. I think I answered that question. How has the journey as a woman photographer been difficult? Very initial stages of being a photographer, definitely a female photographer. Just to break through took me like 5-6 years to actually build my name, build my brand, and get noticed properly, taken seriously. That would be a big thing, because I also started really young. I started when I was 20. So whiskey womanaya, to answer your question, it was very difficult. But yeah, lots of perseverance, lots of luck, and I think also at some point being a woman worked to my advantage, as I stood out, and I was really good at what I do, only getting better. Sounded a bit egotistic, but anyway. What am I doing in my spare time? Probably writing a book. Not yet. How do you discover these different facets about yourself? What drives this? Oh, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's experiences that I have, and if I really enjoy those experiences, I want to experience them again. And therefore, if it intrigues me enough, I will learn about it, or I will just keep doing it till I'm satisfied, basically.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Shit, kinda. And what drives this is just pure, I guess, hunger for knowledge and hunger for satisfaction. Don't say anything, Nerm. Hunger for.
Yes, I mean, it's fine. Yes.
um, yeah, I hope that answers your question. I'm just gonna move on to the next one.
Mm. Sorry, please continue. Yeah.
Any comments on the test shoot trend? Haven't seen you doing it though. Shrikant, I've done plenty of test shoots.
What's a test shoot?
A test shoot is just like a shoot. You do something maybe to test a new idea. It's like a personal shoot. It's like something you do just for fun. It could be
Okay.
something that you want to do to like something that's missing in your book, in your portfolio. Shrikant, I'm doing a masterclass on how to develop your personal style in photography on the 16th of no, on the 16th of August. Look up on my Insta stories for details, and it's on insider.in. And this I will talk about test shoots as well in that because it's very important.
Is it on your link tree?
Huh?
Is it on your link tree on your bio?
Is it on my link tree? I don't think it is on my link tree yet.
Put it on your link tree, no?
I'll put it on my link tree, but it's on my Insta stories for the moment. He's like, haha, I got the point. Sure. Join it. All right, Norm, go for it.
Right.
You
What
got
was I
like
saying?
29 minutes.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, there was. I'm actually going to go back to the questions because I've got something nonsensical to say to you. There you go. Kalakar Shaggy. That's a great name.
Hi, I know him.
What's the inspiration behind your music? I think we touched on it a little bit
Yeah, so
in the first hour of our chat.
I think what's the inspiration behind my music is whatever I'm going through at that particular moment.
Oh God, really? There's a lot.
Yeah, there is a lot, but there's certain things that I will pick up on that are constant, that keep coming up for me, and I feel like, oh, okay, this is a message, and this is a message I want to share. So that inspires me to at least to write the lyric part of it. Music wise, in terms of like production and stuff like that, it's just really random choices. Things that sound good. It could be something it's always worked on with a co-producer, so it's always like a back and forth of ideas. But the inspiration behind my music is just like truth behind messages and how I feel. It's not like I'm singing about, cars and money and stuff like that. Although there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just talking, my songs are like about heartbreak or about trolling or about more heartbreak.
Or about drinking at a bar. Because the opening lines of Take are like, come and take your shot. It's like you couldn't see your mates after you've racked up a whole shitload of tequilas. It's like, come and take your shot, mate. Come on. And that's your opening line to your song.
Yeah, but it has the good thing, what I find interesting about how people interpretate the music is that you can actually interpret it however you want. If it makes sense to you in that scenario, like how it made sense to you, like you're in a bar and someone's taking, you're taking shots with your mates, then you know what? Go knock yourself out. Have fun.
Quite literally,
Yeah.
in fact. Quite literally.
Yeah.
And here's a question from Garima, who's saying, what made you settle in Goa away from the fashion hub, which is Bombay?
Okay, the fashion hub is probably not Mumbai, it's probably Delhi. But
oh yeah, really?
Delhi, I think, has always been considered like the sort of fashion capital because
NIFT.
I mean, Bombay, well, not just because of NIFT, but a lot of designers are based out of Delhi to begin with. And I think Bombay slowly started building that up. But I think Delhi was always the first. But anyways, I wanted to move from Delhi to Bombay, but didn't want to move to Bombay. So actually, I moved to Goa to be closer to Bombay, but not be in Bombay, if that makes sense.
It's only like a 12-hour journey. It's fine by road. Yeah.
By road, but by plane, it's an hour, So I also wanted a better lifestyle than what the city could provide. And I wanted to be near the ocean, and I wanted to be in nature. And
it seems most of Bombay lives in Goa anyway now.
Yeah. Most of Delhi lives in Goa too now.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe that's good. It's that. Sorry, go on. You were saying?
I moved 4 years ago, which was like, a sort of important transition and time in my life. And, yeah, it it suits me well. Like it was really difficult initially, but um, now it's amazing.
That's interesting because there's this whole, and obviously you know this, but I've always been like a Bombay kid. You know, people that have been Delhi boys. Like, there's always been this whole back and forth between Delhi and Bombay, and it seems like Goa is going to become some sort of weird, fucked up hybrid of both, for better or for worse.
Well, I think right now, I don't blame people for like wanting to escape to Goa, considering the circumstances.
Yeah, true.
But
But
yeah,
you're
I
right;
mean,
it's been happening over the years, right? That whole
it's
movement of
yeah,
people,
yeah, it has been, and I feel Goa will definitely, yeah, it's gonna get crowded.
and it has been for like the last few years as well. But is the quality of life that good for you? I hope it is. I'm saying, is it like pleasant for you though?
Yeah, for me it is. I mean, it's definitely better than living in the city, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the space wise, the quality in life in terms of the house that you live in terms of being able to be out in nature, we get definitely cleaner air over here than in any city.
And
Um,
I'm guessing that feeds into your art as well. So like when you're creating, it must be so much more fucking inspiring.
oh, absolutely, absolutely, yeah,
Which is probably why you don't produce like hardcore, raging industrial bass music.
yeah, because I'm not locked up in some cave in an apartment in the city. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. What are your plans for like after the single? So you've got your singles out now, which is Take. Your
Yeah,
video's out next week.
yeah.
When next week?
On the 13th.
Hang on, is that a Friday? Let me just look that up. No. Damn it, that would have been kind of cool and witchy. It's Thursday. Thursday the 13th, your video's out.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And then the rest of your sort of album or other releases that have more than one word in the title and more lyrics?
Those will be out. I'm hoping at the like later on in the year for sure. At least one more track should come out.
Huh.
I'm
I mean,
hoping.
actually, with all of your production expertise, you could totally fucking shoot a whole video in isolation easily.
I could, and in the whole point of also releasing the video with, I always want to release video with the audio.
Yeah.
That is the aim of the outcome of the whole project is because I am a visual artist, and so I would like to put out a visual with every track. So,
Hmm.
so yeah, that's why with Falling, I put out a video. With Take, I'm putting out a video. I even like a couple of random songs that I've done. I've put out on IGTV with short videos that I've made.
Hmm.
It's fun. It's fun. I like to look at something when I'm listening to music sometimes. So I think it's
As
important.
opposed to the
And
mirror with tears running down your face.
yeah, all right, all right, all right.
Yes. Because it's that emotional. So I think, yeah, there is that too. Hi, Ishwar. How's it going, bruv?
Hi, sure.
Yeah. So right, I'm gonna go we again, and I think we should maybe call it
Jeez.
because
Yeah.
I've got a bladder like an acorn.
You're getting old, Nerm. I'm getting old.
I don't know. Actually, getting old with men means you pee less because you have an inflamed prostate. So I'm actually kind of being young because I'm peeing more. Maybe I don't know. One of those things. That's the weirdest comment I've seen.
I know.
Is that for me? Okay, so we're going to talk about this. Alif Khan is saying big boobs. And like, there's the only chest on display is probably mine. And it has like squares on it. So I'm not sure what porn you're watching, my friend, but these are not big. Big blocks for sure, not boobs. But look, lovely. Thank you for joining me. Really appreciate this chat. And it's made my Wednesday evening go a lot quicker. And I hope I haven't fucked up your whole like next day.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm only like 2 hours past my bedtime, so it's okay.
Excellent. Excellent. So the ruination of my friends' lives continues. Thanks, love. Right, I'm going to go we and mwah. Big love, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.